All right, good morning everyone. So I'm here in beautiful Flagstaff, Arizona at the Home Depot, having to get a few materials for our off-grid homestead. And this is the promised video, and I apologize it's very late. I actually made this video already, but had to delete it because the wind noise was so extreme that I didn't want to burden you guys with that. But this is the promised video regarding my truck and the upgrades we've made on it. And the reason why we've done this is because where our off-grid homestead is even in the best of weather, it is somewhat difficult to get to my place. If it's raining heavily or if there's snow, it's really almost impossible to get there without a vehicle that's more capable. So we're going to go over the modifications that we made in the last month or so, show you guys what we did, and talk to you guys about things we're planning on doing next. But here it is. So this, let me see if I can get this right here. Here we go. There it is. This is a 2022 Ram 3500 diesel 1 ton, which means it's a dually. As you can see, the first thing I'll show you guys are the wheels, or not the wheels, these are stock rims, but we got new tires. These are 37 12.5 17s. I wanted to keep the same rims because I think they look good, and I didn't want to spend money on new ones if I didn't need it. These are brand new. This truck only has 34,000 miles on it, and it's almost 2 years old, so we don't drive this much. This is pretty much my Arizona truck, and that's why it has such low miles on it. So I'm going to go over a couple of mechanical details on this, because before doing these upgrades, it was near impossible to find the information I was looking for as far as what I need for doing what I've done. So again, this is a 22 Ram 1 ton 3500 4x4. So if you guys wanted to get bigger tires like this, the first thing you need is to get a lift. This truck, all we did is put a leveling kit on it. And if you guys remember my last truck, it was a Ram 2500. It wasn't the diesel, it wasn't the 1 ton. But what we did is put a 1 3/4 leveling kit on it, which basically all that was a new spacer. All they did was put a spacer in. And that just brings the level of your truck up to be able to fit these bigger tires. And this is the same size tire I had on my Ram 2500. But in this case, what I've done is I opted to get the new shocks. These are Bilstein, I believe 5100s, if I'm not mistaken. So it came with the spacer, but also the upgraded springs, the heavy duty springs, and the shocks. And it also came with shocks in the rear, new Bilsteins. So the suspension you see here is all new. It created a 3-inch lift here in the front to level out the truck, because when you buy these things stock, they come kind of nose down, and man, I can't stand that look, to be honest with you. I don't like it. They do it for wind resistance, to give you better mileage, but I figure if you got the money you're putting into a vehicle like this, gas mileage really isn't a main concern, even though it's important. But so that's the thing. We got the 3-inch lift, we got the 37 12.5, and these are the Toyo tire. Let me see if I can show you here. The Open Country RT Trail. Now these were just introduced, I believe, this year at SEMA. These are a new tire. It's called a hybrid. It's kind of a cross between mud terrain and all-terrain. And if you can see the sides actually protrude about a 1/2 inch on the sidewall. So these are a little bit different than the other Toyos that these are kind of replacing. So that's that. That's one of the main things that we did. So new suspension, much larger tires. Now as far as the mechanical aspect, and this is the information I was looking for, then I could not find, so we kind of just winged it. Because these tires are about 3 inches wider than the stock tires, this gap in between the two wheels is an issue. So what you have to do is put a spacer, a wheel spacer, that goes in between And I'll duck under here and show you what that looks like. Right there, that shiny guy right there. So that's a 2-inch wheel spacer. Oh, there's the Bilstein shocks that they installed right there. But yeah, 2-inch wheel spacer. That makes it so the wheels here aren't touching, especially under load. You don't want that. You don't want your wheels touching. You want that gap there. So 2-inch wheel spacer is what's required, and the information you're going to need if you have this truck and you want to do this, the offset. You need the offset of your wheels. This particular truck is called an 8200 offset. That's 8 by 200, 8200 offset. There's another one, and I believe it's for the year 21 and previous. It is an 8 and I think 6.5 or something like that. So I had the shop that I was getting the work done at order both, and they just kept or returned the other one. But this is the 8200. So for the 22 Ram 1-ton dualies, it's the 8200 offset. You need that information to get that spacer. So that's one of the main things I did to this truck. The lift, the suspension, and the new tires. Let me show you what else because of because of how big the truck is now. My wife's only 5'5", so one of the other things we did is we got these guys, these running boards, you know, for my wife and for myself and the kids. The running boards on both sides go service both doors. This is a total game changer. I wish I had this on my other Ram. It was hard to you had to grab the handle there and like just jump and hope you make it. So we did get the running boards. They're automatic. When you close the door, they just go back up underneath, and I like them because they tuck way underneath. Matter of fact, when I had that installed and I went to pick up my truck, I said to myself, man, they didn't put the running boards on because they're so well hidden. They also come with lights, so at nighttime you can see where the step is. So the last thing that we did, guys, that we'll go over is we got a new bumper. So this replaced the stock bumper. This is the ranch hand, pretty much top of the line aftermarket bumpers. This is the actual bumper they use on the Yellowstone TV series. They have a Ram sponsorship for that show, and on most of their trucks they have this ranch hand bumper installed on their trucks. We also got a light bar. This light bar was a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be, but man, does it brighten up the road. I mean, it puts the stock lights to shame. It really does. So we got the light bar and the cream of the crop, Warn winch. This is a 16,500 pound winch. Now, when I was first buying this, the people at the store talked me into getting the 10,000 pound winch because it was $2,000 cheaper than this one. So it was significantly cheaper. But after ordering it, I did a little research, and from what I can come up with is when buying a winch, you want to take the weight of your vehicle, times it by 2, and that's the capacity that you want your winch to be. So I believe this truck's like 7,000 pounds or something like that, 8,000. So you double that, and 16,000, well, there we go, 16,500 pounds for this winch. Still have not used it, but from where we're at, once again, where we're at, this could actually literally save a life. I mean, if you're stuck in the snow or in the mud or something, you got to get out, and the only way you can get out is to winch yourself out. Well, there we go. Comes with of course, the hook and the little roller thing here. With this bumper, by the way, this is the second bumper I had them put on. The first one we ordered and they installed. It was about $600 cheaper, but the quality was far, far less than this. This one is built out of just massively thick steel. It's very heavy. I believe it's 500 pounds just for the bumper, not including the 100 or 150 pound winch. So the weight is significant. But with this one, unlike the other one, it was able to receive all the sensors from the stock bumper. So I have all my parking sensors on here. And also, unlike the other bumper, this has a place for my fog lights. So this bumper, it was a little bit more expensive, but the quality is far superior and the looks are just way better. Way better. So the ranch hand, man, I gotta really give it out to those guys. They make one hell of a product. So you can see the sensors there. So these are the stock sensors that come on the truck. They all work. So if you're interested in this, if you have this vehicle and you're wanting to do what I'm doing, trust me, just get the ranch hand, spend the money. You'll thank me later. So good stuff. The company that installed this is a separate company that did my suspension and my wheels. They really did a shoddy job, to be honest with you guys. I don't want to call their name out, but I actually had to talk with the owner and asked him if he was prepared to make this right, and he said absolutely. He said, Vaughn, whatever it takes, we're going to make this right with you. I spent a lot of money with this company, and they ate a lot of money because of the poor installation that their technician did. So they redid everything, of course at no charge to me, and they made it right. What can I say? They made it right, and that's kind of rare nowadays. So that's about it, guys. There's still a few things I want to do that are in the pipe. The next thing is going to be a headache rack, which is basically protection for the entire back. There's also LED lights in it, brake and turn signals that go in the rack itself. It's also going to be home to my CB antenna, like I had on my last truck. This truck does not currently have a CB, but I always have CBs in my trucks, even though they're not used as much anymore, but I just like them. So we're getting the headache rack put on there. We're also getting an extended fuel tank. This is a 32-gallon diesel fuel tank, and I'm going to upgrade. I believe the new one is like 60 gallons, and I believe they may even have a 90-gallon. I'm going to get whatever the biggest one they have. So that's another thing I'm going to do. So headache rack, CB antenna, extended fuel tank. What else am I going to do? I don't think I'm going to get a rear bumper, just because I've never had the need for it. I do need a drop hitch though. This is now, with this truck being higher, it's quite high for pulling trailers. And the other day, I don't know if you saw on my other channel, I was pulling my buddy's car with a car dolly, and that car dolly was at an angle in which it was almost dragging on the ground. So yeah, I need to get a drop hitch for that. So let me give you an overall view, guys, of what we've done, what it looks like. It's just the stance of it is very aggressive, very mean. Oh, one other thing I'm going to do is get airbags in the back for towing heavy trailers. I want the adjustable airbags that have the remote. As you can see, the back end of this is about an inch or so lower than the front. And I mean, these shocks still need to break in a little bit, but I want this thing perfectly level and then adjustable for when I pull heavy trailers. That I'm planning on doing here in about a year or so with a new business venture I'm creating. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about, but we will be pulling heavy trailers, and this is the truck to do it. So I hope you guys like this kind of content. Again, this is solely because we're going to be moving off grid next year. Actually, I think before a year is up, we'll be out there. Just depends on when we get the house livable. But this is the vehicle to get to and from the off-grid homestead. Much needed. Another cool thing about the bumper, you see there's another receiver here in the front. So if you want to add something, there it is. It's all ready to go. But that is it, guys. 2022 Ram 3500 1-ton dually diesel. That's what she looks like. Much better. I mean, the wheels that were on there before, after getting the lift, it was almost embarrassing to drive it. It looked retarded. So it stayed at home most of the time until I got these big wheels put on. It looks much better. It fills in the wheel wells really nice. Oh, one last thing. If you're considering beefing up your truck like this, I know I'm going to get the question, is there any rubbing issues? You know, with the suspension in the front, the A-arm, the track bar, all that stuff. The answer is yes. There's one thing we had to do, but only after we loaded the bed of this truck. We came out here with Arizona. I had about 30 sheets of siding and some roofing material. So the extra weight on the back, it actually caused rubbing. I'll show you right here. So we just took a hot razor knife and just sliced that off right there. That's the only trimming on the entire vehicle that we had to do to get these 37 12.5s on here. So can't complain about that. I think that's about it. So if you guys are considering living off grid, and if you're in an area like mine that can be very rough for driving, you may want to consider beefing up your vehicle before making that big jump. It's very important to be able to be mobile to get in and out of where you're at. So there you go, guys. I'll cut the video here. I gotta run into Home Depot and buy some flashing so we can finish the roof and call it another successful trip. Leave any comments you have, any suggestions or concerns about what we've done with this truck. But so far I've got about 600 miles on the way it's set up now and haven't had any issues other than that little rubbing after we loaded it, but that was an easy fix. So there you go. Oh, and I'm going to tint the windows too. That's another thing we're doing. So still not done, but we got all the big expensive stuff out of the way. So there you go, guys. I hope all is well with you. I hope you're having a great rest of your weekend, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.